What's up, everybody? It's your favorite breath of fresh air's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Flame Toys Jazz. This is on loan to me from Robert D. He sent this to me lickety-split, and I appreciate it. And I'll tell you, I said this in my kind of initial thoughts, I could go for something like this. Been just dealing with a lot of stuff that's been kind of messy recently, and it's nice. It'll be nice to deal with something that's gonna be solid, hopefully. And so far, it seems as such. But before we can get into whether or not this guy is solid, so to speak, we need to start with accessories. So, in typical Flame Toys fashion, he comes with an array of hands. We have left and right trigger finger hands, we have left and right outreaching or gesturing hands, and then left and right sprawling hands. That's in addition to the two fist hands that you saw in the opening footage. They're all detailed the same way. We'll get to it when we get to the figure. He comes with two different faces. Now, I want to be clear, this one here, this kind of like the screaming face, that one was taped to the bottom of the tray, so that might be an exclusive that only comes with buying it from Flames Toys directly or pre-ordering it with them, which Robert tends to do. But this one comes in the proper packaging itself, which is more the gritting face. Details are the same as the figure that you saw in the opening footage, and we'll talk about that when we get to them, but the only thing that's different here, the teeth are painted white, and the open mouth, so to speak, is painted black. He comes with a backpack. These bits move about a bit, and I'll show you a couple other things that you can do with them as we kind of move through this review. But the whole thing is painted, plenty of different metallic tones, as well as that little red accent there. And as you can see, a couple of male tabs that go here and here. Inside there is where the batteries go for the light up that we'll talk about here soon. But yeah, very cool. Little backpack. To go in concert with the backpack, he has some hip armor for his backside. Painted beautifully, metallic tones, pad printed red stripe with the blue stripes, really sharp. Male tab is right there. Corresponding female is there. He comes with a blaster because what figure is complete without one? Silvers, reds, golds, coppers. This flat gray that's all over the figure. It's like got this drum bit there. A couple different ways to utilize this. One of which is to flip down this handle here, and then he can hold that just fine. The other thing that you can do is utilize this clip here and clip it on to that, and then this can move and you can adjust it, you know, within reason. There's that option as well. Kind of has the over-the-shoulder look, which is, you know, one of his signature looks. He also comes with two door panels. They're identical except for one says Cybertron and one says Autobot with the symbol on there. That's all pad printed, as is the 4 and the stripes. All the other details are painted. Translucent windows. Looks good. There's a couple different ways to utilize this. One of which is by using these adapters. And you simply take it, plug this into the backpack, the more square, and then the rectangle goes in. Oop. Easy for me to say. There. I'm sorry. Goes into the door, and then using these corresponding holes at the top of the backpack, you can plug that in, and then you can manipulate this a ton of different ways. You'll see it posed in the final thoughts. The other option is to take these, which are little adapters, and plug them into the same port you used before, and then you can tab them into the forearm, if I can do it. And then you can have kind of like gauntlets. And of course he comes with your typical Flame Toys stand. Now you have these two bits here. Let me see. You can put these in either spot you'd like, and then this is the locking mechanism. So you open that up, you can extend it, close that up. Actually, let's extend it a little bit further. And then let's put this there for a more extreme angle. This is used to brace it, right? Point of contact. And then you have this piece, which goes in here, or I guess either way, to be fair, whichever you'd like. And then you just plug it in, you know, in his nether regions there, and then insert this back on. And then lastly, he has a couple gimmicks. There's a light up feature both for his chest and his eyes. Oh, Robert lit him. Robert did the batteries. Nice. So that's pretty cool. Looks amazing. You know, and you can also take off, let me make sure I got this right. These plates here, they're at an angle, so use a little bit of caution and have them like kind of like, you know, stripped down, so to speak, if you'd like. So let's have a look, shall we? And we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis, and it is amazing. Absolutely stunning. Fully painted, so the kind of gray is painted, the darker gray, the lighter gray, the gold, the red stripes are metallic on the head. I love them, by the way. They add a ton of flavor. And the visor's a translucent plastic, which is not my favorite, honestly, but it works okay. The neck is also painted. And on the back of the neck, it's little details like that. That's the wiring for the electronics, obviously. But, like, having that open and like that, like, it gives it a mechanical look. I don't know if that's on purpose or not, but I dig it. And I can only guess and expect that it was done on purpose. So, the head, is on a ball joint into the neck. You don't get much out of it. The neck is on a ball joint into the chest. Using both, you can get back to there, forward to there, swivel, and confuse jazz face, so you're gonna get everything that you want. We'll back out a little bit. We'll look at these arms. So, the darker gray is painted, the lighter gray is painted, and the gold details both inside the vents here and on the side are painted. The shoulder joint itself is a ball peg in the chest, and that will rotate up. It also has a butterfly that rotates out, and you get the 360 movement around. In addition to that, there's a universal joint. Basically, it's not a universal joint, it's more of a hinge, I should have said, inside the shoulder block here, which once you get this to its fuller range or fullest range, you can then rotate it further. Use caution so it doesn't bump up against the angled pieces there, is my advice, and that will get you out to 90 degrees. Now, one thing I want to say is a criticism as well. Some of these joints are really tight. Not squeaky tight, you know, but tight. You have a bicep swivel. Gold accent there in the shoulder. Both of those tones are painted. Die cast elbow that is double jointed. Get you the full run. Beautiful. The forearm fully painted. We have the gold vents there as well. You also have a forearm swivel for whatever that's worth to you. It's not worth much to me. We have a wrist swivel and a bit of the ball peg gets up, down, and in, out movement. Pretty fantastic. Same for the other side. Let's take a look at the torso. All right. So the chest itself, the pearlescent is painted. The blue and red tones on the chest are painted. The gold accents are painted. The 4 is pad printed on. Red line details around the bottom. We have more translucent plastics on the headlights. The grill is painted. All those little like tech details down there are painted. And I love the styling on these things, but I do feel like, subjectively, of course, that one, those details underneath the grill are perhaps a bit much. The rest of it I dig. All right, then we have the abdomen, which is the base coat, and then you have the gold vents. Now, you have a ab joint and a abdominal joint, or a waist joint. So, it's a ball peg at the abdomen, and it's just a hinge at the chest. Using really just the abdomen, you get a lean back. Forward, use the abdominal ball peg, gets you there, and then you can get the ab crunch down to there. You also get a swivel. And this section is a third joint, this section here, which gets you your teapot. So it's a hinge at the top of the chest, a hinge, a sideways hinge in the middle, and then a ball peg at the bottom. Works brilliantly. All right, let's take a look at the whole figure. We have the hip skirts, the silver and red are painted, both metallic, and then you have the flat gray that's also painted. These hip skirts are obviously adjustable so that you can rotate them out. The side vents, we can finally say it, 'tis the season, silver and gold, painted on the sides. They will also rotate out, and then the butt flaps are the same, and they will also rotate out. And we'll just do that so that we can get a full look at the rest. All right, so then we have the hips, they're universals. We had the flat paint that's painted, and then we have all the details that are painted in a variety of silvers. So the universals will get you the full Van Dam. Bring them both back together. And they get you, it's not quite the full Monty technically, but the front joint gets you beyond the full Monty. So, more than you'll probably ever need. We can rotate these down. Thigh swivel, elegantly done too. Knees, you know, they usually do the kind of knee gimmick where the plates move. On this particular figure, it's this middle piece here, as you watch. Double jointed, so that's the single joint there. And there's the second joint, and this piece stays stationary and looks good throughout for the full run. Fantastic. Love to see it. For the lower legs, once again, ton more of details. So we have the translucent plastics over top of silver. We have pad printed paint for the blue and red there. Silver and gold. Here and here. And then the more of the kind of similar detailings at the bottom. You have like a metallic light blue that's supposed to sort of match the translucence. It looks pretty good. A couple more gold accents. No complaints. The ankles are interesting. So it's a ball peg that sits way up inside of the shin there, and it comes down on kind of an L-shaped joint that gets you your rocker. But the rocker is an additional joint in it with the ball peg, so you can use both. And it's a little hard to get to there, and that'll get you your rocker. And then the ball peg itself gets you the forward movement and backward movement. This piece moves a bit as well to kind of get out of your way, and then you have a toe hinge. And then the bottom of the feet are completely detailed. And there he is from the back. Yeah, man. This is an example of when Flame Toys gets it 100% correct for the most part. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Great, great figure. Size comparison wise, there he is next to the Flame Toys. There he is next to the Fans Toys Jazz. It comes up to about the bottom of his chest. So big figure, right in line with the other kind of Flame Toys proper figure releases. Should fit right in. And I do happen to have one of their model kits handy, so, you know, there he is over that and kind of dwarfs over it, per usual. And just in case you were like, well, I have a couple model kits, you know, how will it fit with those? The answer is not at all, but there they are together. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. I hope you're not crazy about this pose because it's not going to be much to say. The biggest kind of glaring issue with this figure, in my opinion, is that a lot of the joints are really tight. I'm sure they'll loosen over time, but one of the things I've always loved about Flame Toys is just how right it is right out of the box. Just tensioned perfectly like a Bondi or SH Figuarts. This one's a little tight, so to speak. Secondly, wish they would have used something a little bit more vibrant than a translucent visor for the head, for the eyes. And I think the only other thing that I have to say about this is I wish the armatures that held the wings were a little bit longer and a little bit more articulated. I'm happy with this, don't get me wrong. I think it's a cool pose, I think it works. But I found myself when trying to get to this pose being like, man, like I wish I could angle these just a little bit more dramatically or whatever. But as you can see, I mean, there's no issue. It looks beautiful, right? It still looks stunning. I'd be lying if I didn't say I was looking for a bit more with just how to position the wings themselves. And I gotta be honest with you, I think that's it. I think that's the only negative that I have to say about this, and I'm really just dragging this out so you guys have the opportunity to look at this pose a bit longer. Positives wise, like I almost don't know where to begin, dude. It's painted beautifully. The materials feel great. It's sculpted wonderfully. It has a presence. It feels like a premium product. It gives you that buyer's reward of quality of like, man, I know I paid an arm and a leg for something, but it is awesome. Which not everything does, right? This does it. All of the gimmicks with the different options for the car doors. While we're on the topic, the accessories in general are fantastic and appropriate, and they didn't go overboard. You don't feel like you have to sacrifice accessories and keep them in the box. Do you know what I mean? Like everything can be integrated in a number of different ways. Has a ton of playability, a ton of display presence. Like it's fantastic, man. One of the best things I've looked at all year. Don't know how else to tell you. If you're at all interested, pick it up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.